Hello, 5th grade. We're going to be working again with Pixlr this week. So you go to pixlr.com and always do Pixlr E, right? So you click on Pixlr E on the top, and we're going to do Create New. And you could pick which size you would like. I'll use this web one over here, and I'll call it Flower because I'm going to be working with a flower. Okay, so I click Create. And the first thing I want to do is I want to make a background here. So I pick the color that I like over here. Pick the color that you want, maybe a little like that. Click OK, Paint Fill, fill in your background. Now I'm going to use a picture of a flower. You could use a different picture if you would like. Layer, add image as layer. So layer, add image as layer. And I'm going to put in a flower for my desktop. So now here's the picture of my flower, and make sure that the flower goes on the top. Okay, so flower's going to be on the top. If it's too big, you could click it, and you just go like this with the bubbles, and you drag it down like that. Okay, so we want to erase this background of the flower. Okay, we want to erase the background of the flower. There's a few different ways you could do it. One way is with the eraser, like we did last week. Okay, so a lot of times you have to use the eraser. Remember that? Use the eraser. But I picked this image for a specific reason. What I like about this image is the background is the same color. Now, last week when we worked with the picture of me in the computer, it was a different background, right? It was lots of different colors. I picked this image because it's the same color. If you ever get an image where the background is all the same color, it makes it really, really easy for you because the computer will understand what color to look for, and it could eliminate it very easily. So here's how I'm going to do it. First thing is make sure the flower's on the top. So you don't want the flower down here. You want the flower on the top, and always click on the top layer. You don't want to be clicked down here. You want to click on the top layer. Okay, so click on the top layer. That's step one, which is going to be the flower. Then I'm going to go to Magic Wand. Okay, I'm sorry, they call it Wand Select. Some people call it the Magic Wand, but they call it Wand Select. Okay, so Wand Select over here. Okay, and then over here, New Selection. Okay, so once again, I want to review this. Click on put the flower on the top layer. Click on the flower, Wand Select, and then I'm going to go New Selection. Now I'm going to click on the background color, not this background color, the photo background color, and I click on it. Okay? And notice what happens when I click on it. It selects everything but the flower. So what we just told the computer with the magic wand was we want you to select everything that has this gray background color. Okay? Everything that has the gray background color has been selected. Okay? So we got that all selected, and we're going to delete that, and then the flower will be left over. So I'm going to go to Edit, and I'm going to go to Cut. Okay, so Edit and Cut, and look at that. It took out everything nice and perfectly. Now, this only works if you have a background that has the same color. Okay, if you have a background like last week, it's not going to work. Okay, so after we cut out our flower, you want to make sure that you center it, right? So you could use the little bars here. So this tells us it's centered up in the center of the page. And if you find that center one, that will give you the center for the left and right as well. So we want to center it as well. And then you want to make sure you're on the right layer. So we're going to click on the flower layer, okay? We don't want to be on this layer. We want to be this layer. So now I want to change the color. Here's how I could change the color. I can go to Adjustment, and I could do Brightness and Contrast. And now when I go like this, I can make it either brighter, or I can make it a little bit darker. It's up to you, okay? And in the center is where it was. And in contrast, I could do that as well, okay? So that's the first thing you can do. The next thing you can do is you can go to Adjustment, and you can go to Hue and Saturation, and then what you could do is, now I could make it blue, or I could make it a little green, okay? It's up to you how you want to do it. And then I could go over here, and I can change this a little bit. It's totally changing the color, right? The saturation. And then I can make it a little lighter or a little darker, however you want to do it. Okay, so that's another thing you can do to change it. And I'll put it right over here. The last thing I want you to do is, you don't have to do this, but I just wanted to show you. You could take this flower, and I could blend it with the background. Okay, now here's how I would do it. I'm going to click on the flower here. Okay, don't click on this layer. Click on this layer. And I'm going to go over here, and see it says blend mode. So I could do screen, and now it blends it with the background. I also could do overlay. I could do darken. I could do lighten. And you pick the way you want to do it. I could do soft light. I could do color dodge. Some of these don't come out so great, but some of them you give it. That's a nice, neat little effect. I'll leave that one. So And also you could change this if you want to make it more transparent or a little darker. So this is my little effect that I made, okay? So what I did is first I cut out the background, and then I did the hue and the saturation, and then I did a blend over here on the side. I did a blend. So you don't have to do this exactly like I did this, and you don't have to use the flower. But for this week, what I want you to do is a few things. First, I want you to have multiple layers, at least 2 layers. Then what I want you to do is I want you to cut out your photo. Now, you can do a combination of a few things. The first thing you could do is you can just do the eraser like we did last week. You can erase that out. If you have a background that's a little bit easier, you could use what I did, the magic wand selection. You could use that. So after you do that, after you remove the background, I would like you to center your photo, and I also would like you to do some adjustment. And when you do your adjustment, make sure you're on the right layer. You can go like this, adjustment, and do brightness and contrast, use saturation. You could try some of the other ones as well. And then if you want to, it's up to you. You could also try to do over here, you could do a blend mode. Okay, so that's what we're working on this week. Removing a background with either the eraser or the wand selection tool, and changing the color of something, and also possibly blending it. When you're done, please go File, and then save it to your computer, and then take that image and upload it to Google Classroom.